Right, it's Thursday, February 22nd. Just thought I'd follow up here and shoot one more video at the end of trading on Coinbase. Shot a bunch of videos here today on this stock. First, how I bought it here at the lower blue line near the open and how I scaled out and took some early gains. And then I shot a video describing how on this move down here as it was developing, I thought that could be a potential TTO, which is triangle day out in the strat language, which means you come down and you take out liquidity before reversing and moving back through the range, and why I thought this was an area where the price might reverse and head back up. And you can see essentially it did that, and we closed near the highs of the day. So we end up with a green bar here today on the daily chart. That's kind of what you're monitoring for at the end of the day. To me, that says we're going to test the high of this day tomorrow in some form and head higher. So if this works out, you're going to have to now, in compound fashion, 1 bar, 2 bar, and then if it comes up 3 bars, take out the range of this bar right here. That's kind of what's developing. What's also interesting is if we don't do that, again, with this green bar, you do expect a little push higher tomorrow. Now you're going to watch and see if that move sets up another trade intraday that could, look good to get to this target that's in play. If price heads up and doesn't get there on the daily chart and instead gets a 2 down, that becomes interesting to me because you fail to reach your target. If, let's say you come up a little bit and get some reversal and then get a 2 down heading into next week, that would also target, then, this, for example, if that happens, then I'm looking at this weekly chart with 1 day to go. That will kind of end up an inside bar, and that 2 down on the daily chart that I'm talking about on some kind of failure to move up would target kind of an inside bar break to the downside, which has now a target inside this gap in here. It could go as low as, the 147 area. So it's kind of interesting to me now to see if this 2 up move reaches its target on the daily chart, or if it fails, it gets a 2 down, then we'll target this low, which will also be an inside bar break on the weekly chart, which can, start moving into fill in some of these gaps down here. So either way, you can look for buys tomorrow or eventual on the daily chart. If you can't reach that target, keep that in mind because things are, possibly heading lower. And I would definitely play that trade with put options or something to the downside if it develops. But tomorrow, going to the 15-minute chart, we're going to see where that pre-market range is, as always, tomorrow, and see if we get the 15-minute chart starting up early and kind of getting that, move back up towards these highs up here in the 180 area. So we'll look for that opening price action. But any failure in here, again, keep that in mind. That's going to be an inside week, and it will be interesting to see if that continuation occurs and has a chain reaction, sell signal here on the inside bar on the weekly chart, which would then project a little lower. And that's what's interesting about that is price has already come up and taken out that high. So now, this is big picture stuff. Since we're kind of really monitoring what's going to happen here, it's very, on any kind of time frame, once you kind of take out a key pivot area, that's always an inflection point, the way I see it. So this is more on the weekly chart inflection point. Is this going to hold in here and then reverse all the way back down? Or is just a pause in this area, which eventually breaks out and heads higher with the trend that's in play? So that's kind of the real context. So in other words, if this was the top and the beginning of a failure, then on the daily chart, we could fail to reach our target, get a 2 down day, and that will set all kinds of, interesting opportunities to the downside because you have some gaps to fill in here. So right now, trends up, looking to continue higher as discussed. Good trade today in the morning. Good TTO kind of buy again to head higher. And now with all those other things in mind, keep that in mind if you want to kind of follow Coinbase both tomorrow and into next week.